All right, welcome to my home gym. This is week number 2 of our 16-week program. This is a progression from, let's call it beginner, or someone who's maybe taking a break from working out and trying to get back into things. So we've broken this up into 6 different phases. The first phase was last week, which was body weight only. This week we're transitioning into resistance bands. So we're going to ultimately work our way up into using dumbbells, free weights. So with that said, we need to hit our workout first. Now, even though last week was body weight only, I had taken a little bit of a break, especially from my leg training, and so I'm feeling pretty stiff. So even though we are doing chest and triceps today, we're sticking to our exact same split that we did last week. So Mondays is chest and triceps. It's going to be that way all the way through the 16 weeks. So even though this is an upper body day, definitely need to come in and stretch out those hamstrings. Oh, mother. So usually what I'll do, I'll come in, whether it's, here on the rower, or if you're in a gym, maybe something light like an elliptical, just loosen up, get the body warm real quick before you jump into stretching. You don't particularly want to stretch cold. So I've already done that. Oh, man. So these workouts are full length, uncut, beginning to end, from warm up to cool down, so you get to see exactly what I do in my own workouts. Kind of the purpose is for you to be able to put your headphones in and just follow along. Think of me like a training partner. Make sure you head over to the description in the video. There's a link there so you can download the PDF absolutely free, making it available for everyone so you can follow along. I'm personally following this over, well, now I was going to say 16 weeks, but have 15 weeks left. I have a goal, trying to get in shape for my birthday, so that's what I'm going to be doing. These videos are helping me hold myself accountable, so I figured might as well share it with you guys and let you follow along if you want to. All right. And then just lightly touch the toes. All right, so since we're doing chest, I make sure that all my upper body warm-ups, especially on chest day, really warming up the shoulders, getting those rotator cuffs. So we'll start with a little rotator cuff hack. You guys have seen this before. If you were following it last week, workout towel, shoulder width apart, palms facing in, tuck those elbows, and create your own resistance. So with my left arm, that's external rotation. And then the right arm. So we're both working external and internal rotation, both arms at the same time. And this is a crazy time savings. I used to come in with resistance band and do them individually, and it just was tedious. And so found myself not doing it as consistently as I should. So that's why I was looking for something that was a little quicker, something I could make habitual, do it every single workout. Let's do a couple more. There we go. I'm going to do some light arm circles here. Nice and controlled, we're going to go forward. Get some blood flowing there. Work those muscles. Believe it or not, it's actually a good exercise. You can make your shoulders burn with this. For any dudes out there that have ever had to paint a ceiling, start to feel your shoulders burn, you know that it doesn't take a lot of resistance to really set them on fire. All right, backwards. Do a few more. All right, we're gonna grab, actually I'm gonna grab all the bands here since we're doing resistance bands. But for this warm up, I'm grabbing the extra light band here. Step on it about shoulder width apart. And we're gonna raise our elbows up to shoulder height. So you can see this. We don't want to be forward, so we're going to pull them back, everything lined up. So elbow through shoulder all the way to the other elbow. You want to keep your elbows in this position and then rotate backwards. Same thing, come forward. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do 3 more. So I've had some crazy tendonitis in my left shoulder, which is why my workouts have sucked over the last couple months. So really been making sure that I take the time to do this warm up. And it's not just a warm up. I wouldn't look at it that way. I would look at it as conditioning. This is a way to strengthen your shoulder, to bulletproof it, make sure all those little small muscles that we call our rotator cuff are nice and strong. So when we're doing bigger compound movements, using bigger muscles like our chest, etc., it doesn't overpower those small muscles. So you have to invest that time and energy. With that said, should be nice and loose now. You can kind of get some light arm swings here, just get some blood flowing, because we're going to jump into our first chest exercise using resistance bands. Now, if you never used bands, these can be a highly effective training tool. Most common question I get from people is, yeah, but can they actually build muscle? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, I used these for 4.5 years without touching a weight. I took a long break, and these are an amazing training tool. Incorporating them here, one, for the progression, so we can go from body weight and start adding some resistance, but it's also an opportunity for you to learn how to use these if you haven't already, to be able to just add them to your arsenal. Why wouldn't you? It's no different than using dumbbells versus barbells versus machines. It's just another training tool. This happens to be portable, lightweight, cost-effective. So, in my opinion, there's no reason why you shouldn't own a set of resistance bands. So first exercise, go ahead and loop your hands in there. We're going to bring this behind our back. You want to make sure you're sitting down low enough on your back. You don't want it too high because they can slip off onto the back of your neck. And so we're going to do a basic chest press. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do a chest press with bands. We're sticking to the basics. We're doing what I call unanchored exercises, meaning we don't need to attach it to any kind of equipment. We're going to anchor it really just with our own body here. So we're going to start with our hands nice and wide, almost like if we're going to do a bench press or maybe a push-up. And what we want to do is press out, and then we're going to squeeze in, just like that. So if I were to lean forward, just so you can see that this isn't a linear movement like this. It's got a curve to it. And then we'll squeeze, and then we're going to control these. 2-second eccentric, and then a 2-second concentric. So all our reps are going to be nice and controlled. We want to use good mind-muscle connection, meaning think about actively contracting the chest. So even if you didn't have resistance, you want to make sure that you're squeezing that muscle as hard as you can every rep. Nice and controlled. There's 12. I'm going to do 3 more. Now, we talked about this a lot in last week's workouts, but just in case you missed those, we'll kind of reiterate it each week. The focus here is not just banging out reps. It's about using control. So controlled rep tempos, which means a little bit more time under tension, which makes the exercise harder. So that way we're able to use less resistance. It'd be the same thing with dumbbells, whatever piece of equipment you're using. It's a simple technique to be able to boost intensity without always having to rely on adding more and more weight all the time. So one of the big questions with bands is, yeah, but how do I get 225 pounds of resistance for a chest press? And the answer is, you don't really have to. Focus on better squeezes, good contractions. That's the key to resistance bands. So we're gonna do 90-second rests, just like we did last week. I think I wasted mine talking, but we do want to get quick light stretches in the chest here in between all our sets. I'll make mine quick. I always talk about making sure you spend an equal amount of time stretching that muscle out in between sets, because during the set, you're focused on shortening or contracting the muscle. So there's a natural balance you need. Now with bands, just like you could with weights, you put extra plates on. If you want to, you can come in here, you can stack up multiple bands if you want more resistance. Here we go. Remember, start wide and squeeze to the middle. There's 6. 7. 8. We're gonna do 4 more. You have to shake it off or pause, it's okay. Here we go. Here we go. Nice. Stretch it out. If you never trained with bands before, I think the reaction that I usually get from people that first good set that they have is like, wow, the contraction and the pump, and it's just a different kind of feeling. People always want to compare it with weights. They're not the same thing, it's apples and oranges. They're different training tools. They got a different feel to them, slightly different techniques to be able to get the most out of each of them. So I don't think of them the same way. It's not a direct comparison. Make sure you get your water. All right. One more set of these. I actually had some other questions I wrote down, some of the more common ones. Simple one, is our bands effective? They're highly effective. Can they build muscle? Yeah, they can build muscle. Like I just said though, it's using bands just requires a little bit different mindset. Again, it's more on just focusing on getting good squeezes, mind-muscle connection, as opposed to just relying on the resistance, the pure mechanical tension that you would get out of free weights. Here we go. There's 6. Now I'm going to drop one of those. Keep going. That's 10. We get 2 more. Oh, nice. Whew. All right. It's one of my favorite Outkast songs. All right, stretch the other side. All right, grab a drink of water. So we're moving on to overhead extensions with the bands. Now again, keep in mind, these are just some basic band movements. Just about every movement you can do with free weights, you can almost mimic with bands. So we're keeping it pretty simple here, yet effective. So we're going to do a single arm overhead extension. So we're going to anchor it under 1 foot and drop down. You want that band on the outside of your triceps there. And then we're going to press straight overhead. And this is our starting position. Want to keep that elbow in one fixed position as much as possible, meaning we don't want to move our arm out to the side as we do these. So a lot of times, a little trick, I'll just sometimes put my hand right here on my elbow, just as a reminder. Keep that disciplined form. Full extension. 2-second eccentric or negative. And 2-second concentric. Good squeeze. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I'm going to get to 6 and drop down, to be honest with you. Or what we can do, here's another trick. Do 6 here. We'll switch. One more and we're going to switch back and get 6 more. Try to keep that rep tempo nice and controlled. One more. Good stuff. Finish off the other side. That's 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna do one more, and I want you to watch something real quick. There's 6. All right, let's say this was a dumbbell. Now I gotta put the dumbbell down, right? So I gotta go from here to here to here, and then go rack the thing. A lot of times that's where I found that I injured myself a lot. So with bands, here's one of the nice things. I can deload the band a little, just bend my knees. That's taking some of the tension off because bands have what's called variable resistance. The more you stretch them, the more resistance you get. So all we have to do, take a little bit of pressure off here. Now I've got very little, so this is pretty safe for me to take the band off. So I think there's an injury prevention piece in that because a lot of times, like I said, it's not in the actual movement where I see people hurting themselves. A lot of times it's the setup and it's the takedown. All right, triceps extension. Arm overhead. You take your hand on your elbow and just gently pull the arm back. You can even get a little lean into it if you want. Get a little lats in there. Other side. Nice. And grab some water. What are the questions? Well, we kind of answer this one. Do resistance band work as good as weights? Well, if working is good means getting results, then yes. But again, bands and weights are different. They're not the same thing. You have to use slightly different technique, but at the end of the day, it's like climbing to the top of a mountain. There's not just one path to get to the summit. So it may look like a different route, but ultimately the end result is the same. Okay, let's do another set. I'm actually, instead of alternating, I'm gonna try to get 12 in a row here, so dropping down in resistance a little bit. Crazy thing, when I was trained with bands only, you get really strong at these. And I haven't been doing bands only stuff in a little bit. And it's a good reminder how challenging these can be. So in some ways, I find that bands can be more challenging than weights in certain ways, and vice versa. People, if they ask me what's better, it's not a matter which is better. They each have their merits. We're slowing it down a little. It's starting to rush. Watch that rep tempo. That's what's going to really kick the intensity up. There it is. Yeah. Nice. Switch. There's 5. 6. 7. 8, 9. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. Good. Last one. Nice. Now, doing controlled negatives or controlled eccentrics, so that'd be this phase of the motion. Those are challenging, controlling your rep speed, but we are stronger in the eccentric phase than we are in the concentric. So what really is challenging is the 2-second nice controlled concentric. There's no momentum there. Matter of fact, I would say it's also another advantage of bands. You can't use momentum. For example, if I was doing dumbbell curls, I can get a little bit of a swing in there and I can cheat using momentum. It doesn't matter how fast you move with the bands, you're not going to get that advantage. So really promotes good disciplined technique. And I think if you train with bands, you can take a lot of that and bring that same mindset into your regular weight training. So we got one more set of these. Instead of talking, I should be stretching. Good, real light stretch. All right, last set. Here we go. There's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 2 more. One more. You know, when people ask me if bands are as good as weights, my first reaction is, who cares? Because with bands, you can literally put these in your bag, your suitcase, whatever, take them anywhere, get a workout wherever you want, outside, at home. Can't travel with a set of dumbbells, not very easily anyway. So it's kind of almost a moot point, like, who cares which one's better than the other? If you've got something that's this portable and still highly effective, then that's worth it in itself. There's 6. 7. 8. We got 4 more of these. Let's count them down. 1. 2. 3. 4. Nice. Now you notice with these 90-second rest periods, 1, it's going to kick up the intensity, but 2, it's going to get your workout done quicker. I feel like most people waste way too much time with their workouts, and then when you hear someone complain about not having time to train, well, of course, when you're wasting a bunch of time, it just depends. You're there to work out, get results, or you're there just to show up and bullshit. All right, We're going to move to our next exercise, another chest exercise. This is going to be an incline chest. So this is going to mimic like we were to do incline bench press or an incline chest press with dumbbells. Now, because we are pressing upward, we're also going to be engaging a lot of the anterior deltoid or the front of our shoulder. So you're going to feel these in the front of the shoulder as well. So it's going to be the exact same thing that we did with our other chest press. Really, it's just going to be the angle of the press. So again, like a bench press, comparing a flat bench to an incline, same basic movement, it's more just the angle. Except with these, I like to anchor it just a little bit lower on my back because we're going to be pressing up. But it's going to be the same thing that we talked about before. You don't want that linear movement. You want a little bit of a curve and a squeeze to the middle. So it's going to look like this. Starting off wide. Don't start here close. Start here. So it's almost to neck height. There's 5, 6, 7. Almost think about, instead of pushing your hands forward, think about squeezing them in the middle. It's almost like a hybrid between a press and a fly. Let's get one more. By the way, I was going too fast. Always have to remind yourself over and over and over, control those rep speeds. It's really easy, especially as you get tired, to want to start rushing things. So we're going to be following, like I said, the exact same split, all the way through the 16 weeks. So tomorrow we have back and biceps, and it'll be the exact same thing when we start progressing into free weights. We do have an intermediate step, so after this week, after bands, we're going to move into a combination of using bands with dumbbells. So that'd be fun. All right, 90 seconds almost up here. Goes by quick. All right, here we go. I want you to think about big chest, sticking that chest out as opposed to rolling those shoulders forward. So big chest, chest out, chin up. Make sure that band is underneath your shoulder blades on your back. Otherwise, it's going to come up. There's 6. Yep. Let's keep going. That's 8. 4 more. This will be 10. 2 more. Man. I was talking about it last week, but the reason I don't count all the way from 0 to 12 is just something I've gotten used to over the years, a little psychological trick, I guess, for myself, which is just taking that longer set and breaking it into chunks. It's like the same thing with goal setting. If you have a big goal, well, it's like that old saying, how to eat an elephant, 1 bite at a time. So if you have a bigger goal, you have to break that down into as many small goals as you can. And then those are more attainable. So you're more likely to reach that goal, and then you can celebrate it. And then you take that momentum of accomplishing your goal and you take it into the next one. So kind of the same mindset here, and getting hung up like, oh, I'm only 6 out of 12 reps. It's like, no, 1 rep at a time. Break it down. All right. This will be our last set of these. And this is the bulk of our workout. We're going to finish off with some arm circles at the end of this. But this is day 1 of phase 2, chest and triceps. And if you're just getting back into working out, or it's your first time working out, trust me, this is plenty of stimulus for the beginning. And believe me, we're going to progress here. The goal is, by the time we're finished with 16 weeks, we are into an advanced training routine. Here we go. Let's make this one count nice and controlled. There it is. There's 2. 3, 4, 5, there's 6, we're halfway. It's taking chunks of 3. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2. There, we're at 9. So let's just do 3 more. One more. Oh, man. I know a lot of people that'll go work out regularly. They'll do it 5 days a week. They'll put in the time, an hour and a half, and they do it for years. And they're like, I'm just not getting the results that I want. What am I doing wrong? And for a lot of people, it's lack of intensity. And a lot of people say, oh, no. On a 0 to 10, I'm at a 9.5. Well, it's all relative. Maybe someone's 9.5 might be another person's 4 or a 5. You have to learn to be able to stretch yourself and to push yourself and to make yourself very uncomfortable, because that discomfort is where growth comes from. So it's that ability to make yourself go that extra mile, do the extra rep. And that's why I do the little tricks with counting my reps. It's forcing myself to get that extra rep or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it takes to push myself in that set to that point of discomfort that I now associate with results. Oh. Nice. So we're going to finish off with some of the same arm circles that we did in the beginning, but we're going to exaggerate these a little bit. Meaning, instead of a little bit smaller circles, we're going to make them a little bigger and a little slower. Really light those shoulders up, especially after doing all these presses. You're going to feel these. Shoulders are one of the most vulnerable things. We use them in all our upper body movements. Even when we're doing a lot of our triceps movements, one head of the triceps is what you call polyarticular, meaning that it crosses 2 different joints, not just our elbow, but also our shoulder. So it's engaged in some of these upper body movements. The long head of the biceps also attaches up at the shoulder. So it doesn't matter if you're doing arms, you're doing chest, you're doing shoulders, you're doing back. Everything is right there at the shoulder. So we want to make sure that we're taking the time to make those things bulletproof. So we're going backwards now. And they're burning. So push through it. That's 7. 8. Let's do 4 more. Nice. These are screaming. Go ahead and bring arm across the body, a little light stretch. Now, if you want, you don't need to. I think this was plenty of stimulus for where we're at in phase 2. Remember, again, this is a progression. Most of that progression is coming in intensity. But if you want to bring some more into this, you can incorporate some of the body weight only exercises we did last week. For example, right now, an easy finisher would be getting on the ground, just busting out some very controlled push-ups if you really want to get that extra pump. But again, at this point, not really necessary, especially if you're just jumping into a routine. Believe me, you're probably going to feel this one in the next day or 2. So that is it for our chest and triceps day. So we're going to be coming back here tomorrow, Tuesday. We're going to be doing back and biceps using resistance bands, so same exact format. And we're going to do bands all this week for phase 2. So I will see you tomorrow. Oh, wait. Make sure you go in the description below, click on the link, download your free copy of the PDF so you can follow along. No strings, no gimmicks, absolutely free. I want you to follow along with me. So, see you tomorrow.